Yeah, okay. Review them and begimel prokim left over. There's always a question if the wine sours, turns to vinegar. And the halacha is you're not permitted to, when you mafresh from one on the other, it has to be similar quality, or it should not be an inferior quality. Even though wine, vinegar is the equivalent of wine, if you take your mafresh shuma from wine, vinegar on wine, it definitely, you should not do it. There's even the question in the Gemara whether it's valid, because you see there's another species, even though it's a derivative of wine. So the question is, what period do I have to be concerned that maybe it turned? So Rabbi Yehuda says that 3 times a year, three periods, it turns. It could turn, therefore you should check it. What is it? Tana b'kidum shel motzei hachag shel tkufas shel tkufa. Said what? There's an easterly wind which blows motzei chag shel tkufa, meaning after Sukkot. So Rashi said, what's the tkufa? We're talking about the season. Rashi over here. Im kvar nichtzot tkufas Tishrei. Tishrei began. Aber im moshche tkufas tamas ad kan lo. Time review dome begimel prokim mochrin satfua lefnei azera. Begimel prokim mochrin satfua. Lefnei azera, b'shas azera, u'b'pros Pesach. Ubishlosha prokim mochrim sayayin prosa Pesach uprosa atzeres prosa Chag v'shem me'atzeres ve'elech. It says the 3 times that you sell either the wheat before the planting, at the time of the planting, and in the middle of Pesach. The 3 times, the Gemara will explain what this means. 3 times you sell wine, the prosa Chag, in the middle of the Chag, Pesach, prosa atzeres prosa Chag. V'shemen atzeres ve'elech, and oil from Shavuos onward. L'mayhil. So.
Rabbi, the notes are saying that it's not a matter of the Chag, it's more a matter of the climatic.
Right. But we're saying, but at that period of time, the climate affects it. Omer Rava v'temer apavya. One second. This has nothing to do with, we'll see in a moment. Yeah. No, but there's a question. There's a chazokah, but you have to be concerned that maybe it was affected. And maybe it happened then already. It happened then. Seemingly, it would be a reisa. It will be a reisa. It will be a weakness in the chazokah, and you should not do it. Therefore, you should not do it. There's a halacha. What seems to be you shouldn't. Meaning, I'm not sure b'diavad. Not sure b'diavad. To what degree it would affect it? Mm-hmm. But like this, if you have a mikveh, you didn't measure a mikveh. Do you have to worry? Maybe the mikveh has less than 40, so you don't have to worry. But if it has a problem, then you have to worry. For instance, the Gemara says in Chulin that before you slaughter, do shchita, you check the knife to make sure there's no nick in the knife. What happens? You've slaughtered multiple animals, and then you check the knife and you find a nick. What is it? So again, now the Gemara compares it to mikveh, right? The knife has a chazokah. Originally, it was checked. Now you find the nick. Did it happen on the most recent animal? Maybe it happened on a previous animal. Correct? The animal itself has a cheskes ein zvucha. Before you slaughter it, the animal's not kosher. So we're dealing with a 2-to-1 over there, also 2-to-1, correct? So therefore, it's good advice that after you slaughter each animal, you should check the knife, right? Let's say he didn't check it, he slaughters all, and he finds at the end of the day, there's no nick in the knife. Okay, so he's okay, but he's taking a chance. Because in fact, if there is, the question is when did it happen? Of course, the Gemara has a question, even if you slaughter one animal. The Gemara has a question: when you slaughter and you find a nick afterwards, maybe was it nicked on the backbone, that you went too far in and you hit the backbone of the animal, and hitting the backbone nicked it, but at the time of the shechita it did not have a nick, or maybe as he cut through the hide, the knife already was nicked on the hide as he cut through the hide. So that means even before he did the shechita, he was slaughtering with a knife that already was nicked. It's also shayla. Gemara has the question over there. What? No. So that even the first animal would not be kosher. Even the first animal would not be kosher, because it was nicked before he started to slaughter. So that the first animal would be kosher, but the subsequent animals are not kosher. But if it was nicked on the hide, even the first animal is not a kosher animal. And the Gemara has all these questions over there. When did it happen? So the first one's impossible to know, right? It's not possible. So we have to deal with whatever we have to deal with. But the others, if you're smart, you check it between every animal you slaughter. You check the knife. No, because it's something which is we're not concerned. It had 200 gallons. 188 is what? So we're beyond the amount. We'd have to worry. But let's eat and check it, and afterwards you eventually check it. It still has the 40 so. If you're okay. It doesn't, then we get involved in this issue.
What if you never checked it? You never checked it. So you never know.
It would be similar to this. If reality is people use the mikveh, and you never check it, and just on fact, based on evaporation of people going in and out, they're taking out enough water, and who are you fooling? How do you not check a mikveh? What? No, or let's say it rains enough in that area that it's always replenished, right? You don't have to worry. There was a story many years ago. I heard this from Rabbi Heinemann. Rabbi Riff. Rabbi Riff was the chief rabbi in Camden, New Jersey. His name was Rav Naftali Yehuda Riff. What was his name, Rav Naftali Yehuda Riff? Because his mother was a daughter of the Nitziv. She was named after the Nitziv. So after he passed away, and he was a semi-colleague of Rav Moshe Feinstein. He was a very great person, and they go to check the mikveh. The way mikvahs are built, you have what they call the bor. That's where the rainwater gathers. Then you have the bath, and the way they do it is they fill up the bath, where the woman immerses herself, rises a certain level. You have a hole in the wall, and the water attaches to the rainwater in the adjoining reservoir, which is made of poured concrete. Okay, that's the way it's done. Then they close it, then they empty the bath, and they fill it again. So they had the bore on the side; it was cemented closed, which was unusual. Usually, because the reservoir was cemented closed, couldn't get in there. So they did some investigation. Why? Because what would be, they would have somebody coming to clean out the mikveh. Clean out the bath with women to scrub it to make sure everything was spotless and clean. What would be and it usually was a goy? What if the goy mistakenly would go and clean out the reservoir? Mistakenly, he'd empty the reservoir. So you'd have a problem. So Rabbi Riff, when he was alive, he always made sure, he supervised it. Everything was 100%. What happens after he passed away? He doesn't know what's going to be. So he gave the order that side should be sealed. You cannot go into that side. You can't go in there. Because he was concerned somebody mistakenly may go, instead of cleaning, they won't know the difference. They'll leave the bath water and they'll empty the other water, the rainwater reservoir. And what's going to be? It's going to be a problem. Therefore, to guarantee that it's always going to be a kosher mikveh, he had that side sealed for that reason.
Okay, the example you gave before with the shofet slaughtered 40 animals, and that's the 40. What was the 2 to 1?
No 2 to 1 there. No, yeah, sure. You have a chazokah to hashto. Right now the knife is nicked. I'm not sure when it was nicked. Could have been nicked just recently. Could have been. So we have on the knife we have a chazokah to hashto, chazokah maker. The knife initially before we started the slaughter was checked. So if it would only be a question on the knife, so the original chazokah rules, it happened the last moment. But the animal that you slaughtered has a chaskes ein zvucha. It's not kosher. It wasn't slaughtered. So I have a question. Was it ever slaughtered? right? So it's the same thing. It's like person being contaminated. So you have a 2-to-1, right?
So if the knife falls down, it falls out of the shofar thing, and the shofar picks it up, checks it, and has it in. He puts that.
It's it would be the same question. Be the same question, right? When did the nick happen? It was as a result of dropping the knife, or was that as a result of slaughtering the animal? And it was nicked on the hide when he cut through the hide. Be the same shiloh, same question. They check it. They check it in between each animal. They check the knife.
I mean, technically, you have to check it even after you go through the hide.
It's impossible. It's not possible.
Not the same, check it out.
It's not possible. It's not possible. I just want to go back to the Mishnah on Laman Aleph. The Mishnah on Laman Aleph. Rabbi Yehuda made a statement. Rabbi Yehuda says, because we just ran through it in the Mishnah, because it wasn't relevant. Rabbi Yehuda says, "B'shlosha prokim botkin sayayin." The 3 periods of time you have to check the wine to make sure it didn't turn to vinegar. This is the climate, Rabbi.
Yes.
Bekidum shel motzei chag. The Rashi says, "Bekidum shel motzei chag sheminash ruach kodim motzei chag." When the easterly wind starts blowing after Sukkot, because that climate, that change in climate, could cause the wine to turn. Okay, then he says, "Ubotzos seder." What is this? He says, smader is usually unripened grapes. When it starts budding, ketom, perach, vanova, vnirin, be'eshkol kesidron. When you see on the cluster of grapes, they're unripened grapes, but you're able to see like the order, the way they're in the cluster. Unripened grapes. At that time, when they form that, he says, ketom usually is a flower. When originally that flower is complete, and you see the lines, the rows of grapes in the cluster. At that time also, ubishnas kinisas maim laboser, kishein kapula lovon nikram bosi. Says when the grape is the size of a white bean. Before it's green, but it takes on, it looks whitish, like a very light green, and eventually turns red, the grape, right? Turns red. He says, Kishen Kapul Hadlovon Nikram Boser. It's classified as Boser when it's the size of a white bean. And when the moisture starts entering into the grape, Ugdela Betochen, it grows. Shochalatza Mehen Kosho, and you're able to extract some moisture. Originally, the bean is as hard as a rock. But when some of the moisture goes in, you're able to extract a droplet, a minuscule amount of liquid. That's Knisas Mayim. What's the indication that there's moisture in it, that you're able to extract a minimal amount of water, liquid from it? That's one pshat. In what? In Knisas Mayim beboser. The water entered into the boser. The boser, he says, is the hard white bean. And Knisas Mayim is when it has some degree of moisture that you're able to extract a droplet of liquid. We'll see it has halachic ramifications. They would actually crush the grapes when they were very unripened, and they would add water to this mixture, to this mash, right? And they would use this to dip, use it as a dip. It was like that as a sour dip, like vinegar. They would grind it. That's nichnosin. So what's the mind? They would add water, not naturally the water, but they would add water. Okay. At first pshat, Rashi says that it was part of the grape. The moisture was extracted from the grape. So there's a whole question now. Tosis, is that droplet, is that classified as wine, or is that classified as water? It's classified as wine if a non-Jew touches it. It's yenum, right? But if it's classified as water, then it's just what we call it's zeyabalma. right? The halacha is that if you squeeze a fruit, what bracha do you say on the extract? It's called the sweat of the fruit. It's not the fruit of the tree. You say shaku, correct? So that's the question over here. But on a grape, what is the fruit of the vine? The wine is the fruit. The question at this stage, where you extract that little bit of moisture, is that called wine or is that called water? To what degree does it have to develop before it's considered wine? So over here, Rabbeinu Tam says, Shas knisas mayim lebos bottom tosus. Nero the Ri Koloshin Rishon Pirish Kukunchis. The Ri says that the correct understanding of knis boser l'mayim leboser is the first interpretation of Rashi. You're able to extract from it a minuscule amount of liquid. Haboser mishevi mayim ochel bopito besode. Hivish kones doch v'yesh ein nisharim bo. Al magai, he says that they're not careful because it refers to it as mayim. So therefore, people are not careful regarding a non-Jew touching this extract at this point because the Mishnah refers to it as mayim. Because the Mishnah refers to it as nichnos mayim leboser. So what are you extracting from the grape? It's not called wine; it's called water. Rabbeinu tamo mishein lohokil. Rabbeinu says you have no right to what? As a dip. That's a dip. No. To dip something in it. The extract, they dip it sour. It's a sour extract. It's like a vinegar. It will never form, but they're extracting it from the grape. For tibul, for dipping. Right? Understand. There's nothing wrong. It's at the early stage of development, they already extract.
Value of the wine, the grape.
Kasha v'maisa, they have a surplus of grapes.
They don't know yet.
Okay. So he says, wait 1 second. Okay, getting off on the tangent, why do they do it? Rabbeinu Tam Omer she'ein l'hokel. Rabbeinu Tam says you have no right to deal with this leniently. Fi she'ein anu bikim ad moshe kori mayim v'lo yain. We don't know when does it change from water, a moisture extract, or it's considered wine. We're not sure exactly when that transition takes place. Therefore, you have to be machmir that if a non-Jew touches that extract, it's considered yenom. The grape is at its early stage of development. They extract something which is sour. Is at that moment, is it wine or is it water? Why not? No, that's not true. What about grape juice? A non-Jew touches grape juice, it's same. It's classified as wine, right? It's the extract of the grape. You drink grape juice, you preagofen, although there's no fermentation. Koser Rabbeinu Tam, Shoshana Achas lo nisvashlu hayenus yofer. Or your boser here, he says 1 year they had a bad crop, the grapes never developed, and they were boser. There was this very. He says, so because all the grapes never developed beyond the boser, what that year there was no yain nesach, Jews allowed the non-Jew to touch the extract of this boser? Definitely not. So therefore, since we don't know exactly the transition period from water to wine, at that early stage, you have to be machmir. You're not, let's talk. You drink wine vinegar. What bracha do you say? You say shako.
You said we don't know when it.
No, but it's still wine. It's still wine. Even it doesn't make a difference. It's still wine. Because it's inferior, you don't say the full bracha.
Right.
For instance, let's say you have corn, raw corn. If you eat raw corn, what bracha do you say? Maybe today. Because let's say people don't eat raw corn. But you can eat it. You say shako. Because the way it's eaten cooked. If it's basically the same cooked raw, then you say priyadama. Because in its present state, it is the fruit of the earth. Otherwise, it's always, you downgrade it one level, so you go to shako.
But wine.
Grape juice, that would be what?
Grape juice is B'Priya Kofen.
Why is it kind of
Because people drink it. No, because it's drunk. It's drunk as grape juice.
fruit juice?
No, but it's still, because still the extract of a grape is, versus the grape, that is the fruit of the vine. The fruit of the vine is the extract.
Right.
The extract of any of the fruit versus the fruit is called the sweat of the fruit. Because it's not significant versus the value of the fruit itself. The extract of a grape has greater value than the grape itself.
Right.
Therefore, it's called the fruit of the vine. It's the Priya Gofen. It's the fruit of the vine for that reason.
Grape itself to make it, right?
That's the same. You have two things. The grape is Priya, it's the fruit of the tree. But what's the fruit of the vine? The fruit of the vine is the wine. It's the extract. It's interesting. There's a ritual, famous ritual. We don't rule this way. What about, let's say, we used to talk about, today we don't have sunkist. One time, sunkist was synonymous with oranges. Right? They owned all the orange groves, sunkist. So they plant oranges specifically for oranges. So that's the question, because the ritual says that if a fruit is planted for the flesh of the fruit for eating, so the extract is only a derivative. It's secondary. But what about if you plant it specifically for the extract? So the fruit of this fruit is the extract. So the ritual says, you say, "Who creates on orange juice?" So the Gemara asks, we don't, it's a minority opinion. Because anything outside of wine is considered secondary to the fruit. Even the intent was to plant it for whatever it is. So the Gemara asks, what bracha do you say on if you drink olive oil? What bracha do you say? You say shakel. Because the Gemara says, because when you drink olive oil, you get an upset stomach. So because it's mazik, right? That's the reason why the Gemara asks you should say bo creates on olive oil, right? No. You say shab because it's mazik. You say shakel.
So on wine, on vinegar, you have to be careful in terms of. It doesn't have to be a bird. It doesn't have to be stomach.
Right. Wine vinegar, a non-Jew. That's the reason a person goes to a restaurant. If the wine vinegar doesn't have a hechsher on it, it's a problem.
It's still in it, doesn't make a difference.
No. Okay, let's get back to the Gemara over here. So Rabbi Yehuda says that 3 times a year, 3 times periods, the wine has to be checked to make sure it didn't turn to what? To vinegar. Because the climate of these 3 periods affects the wine. Tanu, we learned in the Brisa, Bekidum shel motzoi chag shel tkufa. And we learned in the Brisa, it's Bekidum of the motzei chag shel tkufa. It's the Motzei Chag, it's Motzoi Chag, that's after Sukkot of the Tkufa. Tkufa is the season. Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda, Omegimu Prog Mochren Satvuo. So Rashi says, as the Gemara will explain, you have 2 partners, and a person wants to sell something without consulting with his partner. There's a right to sell it. So it says the 3 times you could sell 3 periods of Lefnei Hazera, before the planting season, Ub'shas Hazer, when you're planting, Uprosa Pesach. How does he explain Prosa Pesach? It means in the middle of Pesach, like the word Prusa. What? Okay, was the question in Tainus what it means. Here Rashi says, see, Tesvav Yomim Lefnei Haregel Kori Pros. It's half a month. It means 2 weeks before Pesach. Well, we'll see. Ub'shlosh Prog Mochrim Misayayin. Befrosa Pesach, Ubefrosa Tzeres, that's 15 days before Pesach, 15 days before Shavuos, Prosa Chag. Shemen, what about oil? Ma'atzeres Veilach. Someone says, what are you talking about selling? You could sell it whenever you choose to sell it. Omravi Tema Rapapa L'Shutofin. Shutfin, it's a partnership. So Rashi says, what is Shutfin? She'ein echad yochel limkor shel midas chaveru chutz l'prok ba'alolu. Could one partner sell the harvest without consulting with his partner? During these periods, he doesn't have to consult. Let's say he sells it, and all of a sudden the price goes up. He has no claim against his partner because each of them are agreeable. At this period of time, it's time to sell, because you don't know, it could go either way. It could go down. Okay? Every day, once you pass these times, it's time to sell. We're talking about here, if it's Yotzah Shar, the price is there, why not? Vayikaz ruach hashemesh, vayiman elokim ruach kodim charishis. Right, this is by Yonah. Right? It says Yonah, after he was spit out by the fish, so it says something had grown, and he was protected by the sun. And then when the sun shone, vayiman elokim ruach kodim, an easterly wind came, charishis. What does it mean, charishis? This is when the tree, this plant dried up. And again, he was exposed to the sun, shriveled. My charishis, Omer Rav Yehuda b'Shoshem nasheves oset tlomim tlom bayam. So it was like a gale wind, that when this wind blows, it's like you have furrows in the ocean. It causes like waves in the ocean. That's charishis. From the word choresh, right? When you plow, you turn over, you create furrows, mounds in the field. So this wind blew with such force, it created plumim bayam. Mounds and mounds in the yam. Ketelim shel manis hamachrisha. And a charishis lo shecharisha l'fi shechazoki. It's like it plowed. Omale Rabo. So this is Rabbi's. Omale Rabbi hochi hainu d'chsiv v'tacha shemesh al rosh Yonah v'salef. But it says the sun was beating down on Yonah's head, and it says, and he fainted. He passed out from the sun. Elom Rabba b'shoshem nasheves b'shatekes kol haruchos miponeo. That when this blows, all the other winds don't blow. V'hainu d'chsiv asher b'godecho chamim b'hashket eretz midorum. What is this? V'tach hashemesh hakosev bol ho'id sheneschamim ha'olam. The world, Vato Omer, Shesiper Akosev b'koach kvuras sarosel hikach shirim b'lushono. B'shatex koruchos b'neo k'shim minasheves b'shas hachom hichamod. When this wind blows, all the other winds cease to blow because it's a hot wind. Umvatel sinas kol haruchos, and it actually negates the coolness of all the other winds. L'kach shina akosev l'krosa charishis, from the word cherish. It silences. It silences all the winds. When this wind blows, so that's the wind that caused this plant to shrivel up. So therefore, it no longer protected Yonah. It's interesting. The Gemara says in Tainis that the winds, that if not for winds, the world couldn't exist. Because the winds that blow in the world has to be cooled down. And if the world would not be cooled down, the world would self-destruct. What? No, that's what the Gemara says. But there's ongoing winds. And every day it says all the winds blow every day. They blow for different periods of time. But if they would not blow continuously, the world would self-destruct from the heat of the world. And here we're saying that there's this one wind, when it blows, it silences all the other winds, and therefore it creates this intense level of heat. And that was the cause of this plant that shriveled up. And he says, and that's your clothing became hot when it was silenced as a result of eretz midorum. Aleph. Yeah. There was an article written on these Bedouins, nomads. Just recently, I read the article. You know, they ride the camels, and they wear very thick clothing, and they're black. Usually, black absorbs heat, So how do they survive the desert? They go ride on these camels in the desert. So the article was, the way they put on these clothing, it's not just a garment. They layer it. It's wrapped. And there were like spaces between the folds. So as they ride, the air circulates through the garment. And that cools down the garment and cools down their bodies. That's the way they do it. Otherwise, it'd be, what? I don't know why it's black. Maybe they don't have to wash it that often. But whatever it is, but that's the reason, that's how they survive it. Because it has to do with the folds, the air, as they go, the air forced through. That's how their garment is cooled and their bodies are cooled. Okay? V'omarav tachlifa. Archist Omar Avchist Mosai. What's the meaning of this posuk? Hashibugodecho chamin bashki eretz midorom. What does that mean? Mosai bugodecho chamin. When are your clothing hot? B'shor shehishkit eretz midorom. At the time where the land was silenced in the south, when that wind blows, all the other winds are silenced in its presence. Meaning the cooling effect of all the other winds are so overwhelmed by this particular hot wind that it has no effect whatsoever. There's Gemara. Gemara says in Ksubis, everything is predestined except sinum pachim, cold and heat. Meaning, if a person becomes ill or whatever it is, that's predestined. Whatever in your life is predestined. What about heat and cold? Meaning, you become ill. The reason why you became ill from heat and cold because you didn't dress responsibly. You allow yourself to be exposed to heat, and the person has heat stroke. It's because the person exposed himself, acted irresponsibly. Cold, you didn't dress properly. So that's not Bidei Shemayim. That's the person brought it upon himself. So Tosas over there, cites Yerushalmi, that Antoninus, who was the Roman emperor, asked Rabbi Yehuda Nossi for a bracha. That was his study partner. More in Chelik. He learned with him Torah. Eventually he converted to be a Jew, Antoninus. So he asked him, he gave him bracha, that you should never be cold. You should never be cold. So he says, well, what kind of bracha is that? I'm an emperor. There's no coat, no garment that I can't afford that could warm me. So the bracha has no value. I put on a fur coat, I'm warmed. It's not a problem. I don't need it. A bracha would be that I should never be hot. That heat should never affect me. So Rabbi Yehuda Nossi gave a bracha, heat should never affect you. So Yerushalmi, Tosas cites Yerushalmi, that whenever he would travel, there'd always be a cloud over Antoninus, protecting him from the sun. That was the effect of the bracha. Because that's something which is beyond your ability very often. You can't. You have to go into an area where the sun doesn't shine. But to be able to fully function, okay? So when this wind blows, it's mishatekes kol ruchas mifaneo. Rav Huna Rav Chisda Aviyasvi. Rav Huna Rav Chisda was sitting. Cholef Ozel Geniva Alayu. Geniva was walking near them. We'll see. Omachad Lechavre, one says to his fellow, Nekum Mekame, we should stand. Says, well, that's when he's walking. You have to acknowledge the Talmud Chochem. When he comes within your 4 cubits, you have to stand. The Bar Urian who? Bar Urian means he's a person who possesses Torah. It means he's a Chochem. Bar Urian. Second. Omali Idoch. Mikame Palgod Nekum. You know, it's interesting. The Gemara says, we'll just finish with this. Reb Zera, they would study to such a degree that after a while their minds couldn't think any longer. So Reb Zera went and sat at the entrance of the Beis Medrash, that when the students, even though they were colleagues, would go in, he would stand for them. He says, if I can't have credit for studying because my head is fatigued, I have to take a break, at least I'll have schar for standing for Talmid Chachamim when they walk in the Beis Medrash. We continue.